Don't worry so much about LSD, brother. You better start worrying about some of these records the kids have at home. Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie brought over, and other records, communist labels in the beginning. Now other companies have picked it up because it's a money-making thing. Communism doesn't care because it was only to get it introduced. Would you try to get Herman's Hermits or any rock group inside of Russia or any communist country tonight?
Howdy, folks. This is Manic, Mark, Real Fake Outsider Artist, coming to you from the bunker system located underneath the Art Villa, found somewhere in the jungles of the Midwest. And what day is it? Today is the Ring of Hellfire. That's right, the Ring of Hellfire. Painting and Ram Impy. From nightclubs to Christ. Never mind that smoke. It's just coming up through the drains in my basement here with accordion singing. And there's no singing whatsoever. Why this guy's on the front with an accordion, I have no idea. Oh, the subtitle for all of this is A Message to the Young People of Today. That's right. And part of the message is, what about the dance? Well, I can tell you right now that the dance is bad.
Dancing of any kind encourages relaxation and friendly feelings towards your partner.
My main man, Jimmy Swaggart. And mainly this album cover. Look at this. Isn't this sweet? The Ring of Fire. Look at that title. Look at Jimmy's smiling face. Oh, man. The Golden Sound. I don't know what the year this is. I do not know what the year. Even the Ring of Fire type on the back cover is on fire. Isn't that great? I have to give credit to the art director, whoever. They sat around in a meeting and said, Jimmy's not on fire because he's good and pure, but the type needs to be evil and on fire and burning in hell, just so people know that inside.
The 60s will forever go down in history as the black sick 60s that roared like a stream of gutter filth through this great nation of America. Sex was the big three-letter word that came flashing across every television set.
The Ring of Fire, that's right. So it's the Ring of Hellfire. Manic Mark's Ring of Hellfire Week. And right on the front it says, a message to the young people of today.
Many young people today, as they look at the terrible world situation, they might look in total hopeless despair and say, Brother Swaggart, there is nothing left to live for. I realize that many of you that sit here and listen to me tonight may not share those thoughts, but our streets are filling with young people at these so-called rock and roll festivals that are drawing 100, 200, up to 500,000 souls in one gathering. Young people that turn themselves on and thereby turn themselves off.
Hellfire preacher, and he got caught in a couple of scandals. And this is better than any painting I could possibly come up with. Well, in 1986, he was having some kind of feud between him and another minister, this guy named Martin Gorman. So he finds out that Martin's, saying one thing, doing another thing, having some affairs on the side. Because being on the road, preaching and all that, that's hard work, and you kind of need some relaxation. And what are you going to do when you go back to your room? Sit around and figure out what you're going to say the next day? You've said the same thing over and over and over again. So Jimmy doesn't like this because Jimmy's a true man of the Lord. He doesn't like this, so he exposes Gorman and destroys his ministry. So, Martin Gorman, being the forgiving kind of soldier of the Lord that he is, he hires his son and son-in-law to go take a camera and telephone lens and stake out Jimmy's room at a hotel, right? And Jimmy, of course, is in the room doing something he shouldn't be doing, right? Because why? Because he's on the road, life's hard. What are you going to do when you're done preaching the hellfire and brimstone? You got to go, you got to have some relaxation, right? Well, you know what I'm saying. They probably need to be preached to, and they're not going to go to the tent or wherever these folks are preaching, so they have to take the ministry to the prostitute. I don't know what the big deal is. So blah 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 blah. They believed, however, that Jimmy wasn't a genuinely repentant. I guess crying on the camera to raise more money wasn't considered to be a genuine. They defrocked Swaggart, removing his credentials and ministerial license. And it was then that Swaggart decided he would be independent. Why? Because people keep sending in money. So in 1991, Swaggart was found in the company of a prostitute. He was stopped, and when asked, she replied, "Swaggart asked me for sex. I mean, that's why he stopped me. That's what I do. I'm a prostitute." There he goes. Now, when he got caught the second time, he stepped down. Now, the follow-up to the story is that his son, Donnie, would be stepping down for a time of healing and counseling. Well, there is a website, apparently the ministry's still going on, a $1 million ministry, or however much. The son and sons or relatives said, "Hey, what are we going to do for a living? How about we just see if there's, we can continue, doing the Lord's work for a paycheck." I don't know. I'm just saying.
She said, "You don't know what it is to be burned out at 25 years of age. You don't know what it is to have to keep taking pills to keep going on and on and on. You don't know what it is." She's run through 5 marriages already. A life that's wrecked and soiled and dirty. Let me tell you something, young people. When you go against this book that many may try to say is old-fashioned and out of date, you are playing with fire. You are playing with tragedy. And it is a ring of fire that brings destruction.
Man, for being pretty cold outside, it's awfully warm in here. So you've got the painting and you've got preaching, and I'm not preaching. I believe that the only thing I believe in is that these guys that are scaring kids. Look, in this record, this Jimmy Swaggart record, he talks about, like, I'll try to find it because there's too much to put in one thing, but like hellfire in Vietnam and nuclear destruction. And this is supposed to be a message to the young people of today. You're all going to burn in nuclear hellfire? Well, probably. What? Now just No, nothing's on fire. It's just a fog machine. Okay, I'm coming up in a minute.
Here is the newest play. They've been arrested 2-3 times in New York. This is called C-H-E, Chi. 1 hour and 40 minutes of the actors being on the stage without a stitch of clothing on any one of them. And there isn't an act that you can think of, humanly speaking, that they do not do live on stage. They've been arrested for sodomy 3 different times already on stage.
I thought this was not going to be good, but it is. It's very good. The second side is full of... Who's that? Look, on the back he's got his wife, Miss Van Impe, piano and vocalist, but there's no singing on this record. There's no accordion playing hellfire preaching, and there's no Mrs. Van Impe, piano and vocalist, playing and singing on this record.
I thought that I would know life in its fullness. But she said, "I can't sleep at night. I'm going out on my mind. My nerves are all to pieces. I'm swallowing handfuls of pills. What's wrong with me?" And my God, it's in every home, every university, every college. Millions of young people have gone the limit. They've gone further than the limit. But they did not find the satisfaction, the contentment, the peace, and the fulfillment they thought they would find. But they found a ring of fire.
Ow! By the way, did I wish everyone a happy holidays? I don't think I did. Ow!